I travel a lot, so small, lightweight stuff is key. It's so important for me. I like the smallest, most lightweight stuff possible. In the world of video lights, I like these kind, the flat panel lights, so much more than this kind, the cob lights, because of this stupid reflector, which you need. Now, these are bright, they're really bright, and I have a whole bunch of these. But these are awkward. I like just having something like that. I pull it out, it's ready to go. This has got the battery attached to it. Look how small and lightweight that battery, how low profile that battery is. Look at this contraption you have here. That is compared to the elegance of something as flat and lightweight as that. This is so much more. Now you can see why. And this weighs less. And I'm going to show you in the next video how this can run for almost 2 hours compared to only 30 minutes for this thing. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but one of them's a lot brighter. Of course it's going to use a lot more energy and run out sooner. Hold that thought. We're going to get back to that in a second. These things, they have fan noise. These things have no fans at all. They're quiet. I love that. And look at the battery. Look at the battery size of that compared to that thing, the monster. This is a big difference of why I like. This is a NPF 550. This will run this light for 2 hours. This light will run for 2 hours with the smallest, tiniest little NP battery. When they say 40 watts or 50 watts or 10 watts, there's two different types of watts. There is the watt that the actual usage, the amount of power this thing actually uses, and then they like to compare it with, well, it's compared to a 100-watt light or a 50-watt light bulb. Remember the old school light bulbs? They like to sometimes put that on there. For example, I got this Ulanzi flashlight. The advertisement said 30 watts. And I said, that's quite a bit of weight because this is 40 watts, okay? So I thought, well, that's pretty bright. This little flashlight here is 30 watts. That's pretty darn bright because some of these things are only like 11 watts. So I thought that must be pretty bright. Well, I got this thing, I turned it on, and it's not very bright at all. Then I look at the power usage. This is only a 5-watt light. It's only 5 watts. But it's comparable to an old school 30-watt light. That's why they say 30 watts in the advertisement. So be careful what they say. This is just as bright as this. This says 40 watts and this is 11 watts. This has fan noise, only runs for 30 minutes and weighs a lot more than this. This has no fan and runs for 2 to 3 hours. Never compare a light based on what it says watt-wise. If you really want to know, look at the specs and look at power consumption. Then it'll tell you the actual watts that it uses. Anyway, so this thing is fan noise, so let's not use this. So I'm going to show you my 6 favorite ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 7. And why? This one I used to like this one the most because it's the Yongnuo YN300 Air. It's called Air because it weighs nothing. It's so lightweight and it's so flat. And it's so basic and simple, except it's not that bright. So that's why it's not part of my 6 favorite ones. And I like these for different reasons. So just because I say one doesn't mean I don't like the other ones. Anyway, so here we go. This is the Yongnuo YN600. It does have a fan, but I never hear it. It hardly ever comes on. It has a diffuser that goes with it. And this is what it looks like when you have just one of them illuminating my face. This is only one light. And this is what it looks like when you have 2 of them. It's like glamour lighting like a softbox. This thing will run for 75 minutes with just 2 little 550s in the back, like that. Look at that. You can barely even see these things. They're just smushed in the back here. This thing will run for, look at that. It's got a nice meter on it. It's bicolor and everything. This thing will run, it's bright too. It's not even full power. This will run for 75 minutes with these tiny little batteries. I mean, you could stick, if you wanted, these big giant batteries on here, which is, the 970s, these things will run. So if these little ones run for 75 minutes, think how long these ones will run. It'll run for like, what, 4 hours or something? There's no way some of these cob lights can run that long. And these things are quiet. You don't even hear them. All right, so I like this one because it's big and you get a nice soft light from it, and it has the best color. This is actually, when you look at the footage of this actually looks like a softbox. I mean a small softbox, but for a little portable flat thing that this is, it looks really good. The color's really good. But if you have 2 of them, then you're golden. It's pretty darn bright. And it runs for 75 minutes on tiny little 550s. Now the next one could possibly be my most favorite of all because it's so small and lightweight. This is really basic. It weighs nothing. I got a bunch of these. I like them so much because I can fit 4 of them in a suitcase like that. Look at that. There's 4 lights right there in a tiny little space, in the same space that it would take to take up one of those things. This is 1 light, that's 4 lights. This is the all-famous Neewer 176S. It runs on 1 NP battery, 550, whatever size you want. If you do a little tiny one like this, the 550, this thing will run for 2 hours on 1 little 550. That right there, with that little tiny battery, not one of the bigger ones, this will run for 2 hours. That's pretty amazing. And it has a diffuser on it. The diffuser barely makes any difference at all. The light reading goes from 1.49 to 1.45. So it's almost no difference at all with the diffuser on it, and it does diffuse a little bit. Here's a single one. It's not as bright as the big Yongnuo 600, but if you want small and portable, it's hard to beat these. Here I have 2 of them going, and obviously the more lights you add, the brighter things are, and this is my preferred method because it's more flattering. This is so lightweight, this only weighs 6.7 ounces. This isn't even half a pound. It weighs nothing. It's small, it's lightweight, and that's what I love about it. I can put so many of these together when I travel, and they're great. I just love these. That's why I like this one here. All right, now we move on to the next one here. This is a VidPro LED 330. It comes with barn doors, and it comes with a diffuser and an orange, but it also comes with a pink, a light pink. And I got, now why would they have a light pink? Well, I realized that once I did the color test, it's got a slightly greenish tint to the light. And when you put the pink in there, then it's perfect white light. So here's what it looks like right out of the box with no color correction and just the diffuser on it. It's not bad. I mean, it's a little green, but it still looks pretty good. Okay, and this is with the pink diffuser. Now the color should be just right. And here's what it looks like when you have 2 of them. Now I look really good. The reason I like this one is because it's bright. The 176 is 1.49. This one is 2.8. Was that half a stop? It's half a stop brighter. I don't like the barn doors, so what I did is, the first thing I did when I get any of these things, I take the barn doors off. Barn doors don't really, I mean, the only thing that, in my opinion, from my experience, barn doors are only good for spotlights where you want to have a beam of light just aiming at something and nowhere else, it doesn't spill. But when these things are really wide like this, you're going to get spill no matter what. And it doesn't, and when you have the silver ones, it doesn't really improve, it doesn't increase the amount of light. I don't know, they're just, I hate barn doors. First thing I do is I take them off. It's just another step you have to go through when you get to your location. Open up the barn doors and all this. And it's weight, it's extra weight in your luggage. It actually cuts quite a bit of weight off of it when you take these off. Here's the same light without the barn doors. And so it's lighter and it's less annoying. You just put the battery and turn it on and you're ready to go. So the next one that I like is the VidPro 530. I like this one because it's, first of all, this comes off. So you don't even have to use the bracket it comes with. So it's just, look at this, it's just a box. It's just a basic box. It has no readout or anything. It has a little switch on the side and the, here, let me show you. Put the thing in here. It does have a diffuser on it, which doesn't really lower the light much at all. It has a battery reading. It has 2 dials, one here which changes the color and one which changes the brightness. Pretty basic, really basic, easy to use. The more basic, I like it, but look how flat this is. And you can stack 20 of these things in very small space. I only have 1 of them, so I can't show you what it looks like with 2, but you can tell it looks pretty good. All right, then we move on to the Yongnuo YN303. So the one that I liked originally, this really lightweight one here, this is the 300 Air. This is the original, but it's not very bright. This is the 303, and it comes with barn doors again. So the first thing I did was take the barn doors off. So here's the same thing, but with the barn doors off. And it just feels so much lighter. It's like not wearing clothes. It's just so much more pleasant. The barn doors really don't help much with anything, so I just take them off. It lightens the weight, ready to go. I just turn it on, I just flip it into place, turn it on, it's ready to go. And this is what it looks like when you're using one single Yongnuo YN300. And this is what it looks like when you've doubled the fun. I like 2 lights more than one. $77 with one little battery like this. It runs for 75 minutes. So this little and it's pretty darn bright. And it has a diffuser that you can, if you want to do that. Weighs 14.6 ounces. Without the barn doors, it's only 12 ounces. So, but this weighs twice as much as this. So this is brighter than this, but it's bigger and heavier. That's why I still like this one, even though it's not as bright. This is bigger and heavier, and I don't like big and heavy, but it is more powerful. Anyway, okay, then we get to my next one here. This is a Generac BL5X7 RGB. This one I like so much. It's not the brightest one, but it feels like the YN300 Air. It's just as flat, just as lightweight, but it's so much more powerful. It's an RGB light, so it's got this really cool black and white readout. Oh, I just love that. It goes from 2,800 all the way up to 8,000. Most bicolors go up to like 6,000 or 7,500 at the most. Look at that, 360 degrees of color. That is cool. This can give you the lights from Professional Gels. Here's blue, orange, quarter orange, eighth orange, straw. Anybody who's in the film business will know what this means. Different gel colors. Then you have blue, cyan, 97, 15 cyan, green, 15, 30, 60, red, magenta. All these different colors that you can get from this lavender presets. These are actual gels that professionals use. Or you could use it as an RGB light, where you just, it has different effects. You can custom change the hue, the saturation, the power. You can get any color between 0 and 360 degrees. So this is great as an all-purpose light. And the color is actually pretty good, the white light. Here's what it looks like when you use one little Generac panel right here off to the side. And here's what it looks like when you have 2 of them, my preferred method of 1 on each side. It runs for 1 hour on a little tiny 550 battery. This thing right here, this little battery, this will run for 1 hour. And it also has Bluetooth. You can change this thing with an app on Bluetooth. It's small, it's flat, it's lightweight. I mean, this is super lightweight. I love this thing for the all-purpose thing that it is. It only weighs 9.8 ounces. This one only weighs 6.7 ounces. This is still the lightest one, but this is the most fun one here to use. Then we have my runner-up. This is the Viltrox VL200T. This is another big one, kind of like a mini softbox. It uses two batteries, but you can use 2 550s. Very small. Look at that. Very low profile. And it's really easy to use. He has an on-off switch. And look at that, how easy that display is to understand. That changes the brightness of it. You click the button and now you change the color. So here's what it looks like with just one. These are pretty big, so they're like mini softboxes, so you can get away with just one light and still have some nice smooth lighting. But when you have 2, you get a really nice look. I mean, this is very professional looking, very softboxy looking, great light, really soft, nice big panels. I like it. If you like flat, easy to use, this is only $65. This is $100. Oh, I guess there's one more backup runner-up that I have, and that is the this is a really big one. This is a Neewer 288 ARC. It also uses 2, even these little batteries are big enough to work it. You got an on-off switch, same display, you got brightness and color temperature. And the thing I like about this one is this is really flat. Look at that. It's just one even flat light. Whereas this one here, you can actually see the bulbs. So I would rather have this where you have like this is if you want a perfectly flat light. The only thing is when you have something like this, it's not usually as bright as something like this. But because this one is bigger, this is almost the same light level as this is 1.41, this is 1.45. And look how flat that is. That is really flat and it's big and it's easy to use. This is $90 and it uses 2 little tiny batteries like this. Look at this. This is just one light. I've got beautiful softbox lighting from one panel and it looks good because it's so big, which makes it kind of not really that practical for taking with you when you travel. Now it's good for desktop vlogging for a setup like this. If you're in a small room and you don't have big softboxes, But this video is about small, lightweight, portable travel stuff, and these are too big for that. But they're good for desktop vlogging. These ones that I showed you today are good for traveling. They're really, really small. And the one that I think is the most portable, easy, and fun is this one here. It's the Neewer PT176S. It's got a diffusion, which I would leave the diffusion in the whole time because it really doesn't cut down the light at all. And it runs on one little battery. Look at that. Look at how easy that is. And it's so easy to use. You just push the button and it goes on, and then you turn it and to whatever power level. It is not bicolor. It's just white light, and you just whatever level you want. So this is as simple as it gets. If you want bicolor, use any one of these other ones. I like small and lightweight and fun and easy to use, and that's what that is. So there you go. I like little, tiny, low profile, lightweight, flat, cheap things. And these things are definitely that. So I hope you share my enthusiasm for this stuff because this is so much fun. I like lights more than cameras and lenses. Those are just too complicated and heavy. I like simple stuff like this. I like things that light up my life. So hope you enjoyed this. That's it. See you in the next video.